Blessed day mga batang plantito at plantita. Tunay nga naman na ang araw na ito ay sadyang kay ganda. Agree ka ba? For today's lesson, we shall discuss Module 1 of Quarter 3 and we shall be focusing mainly on farm tools and equipment in agricultural crop production. But before we proceed to our lesson, let us have a short prayer.
At the end of this lesson, you are expected to identify farm tools and equipment according to use.
Before anything else, class, let us first define what hand tools are. Hand tools, class, for your information, are basically light and are used without the help of animals or machines. Therefore, class, hand tools can be operated using our bare hands. So gamit lamang po daw ang ating mga kamay ay mapapagana na natin ang iba't ibang hand tools ayon sa functions o sa kung papaano pamamaraan sila ginagamit sa paghahalaman o sa pagtatanim. Ngunit ating tatandaan, class, na ang hand tools ay ginagamit madalas sa mga small farm areas o sa mga light farm works. So ginagamit lang daw siya, class, sa mga hindi ganong kalakihan na lugar na pagtataniman natin. I will tell you the reasons why along with our discussion. First in line, we have bolo. So what are the functions of this hand tool, class? Bolo, class, for your information, is used for cutting of grasses and weeds, loosening and pulverizing the soil. So ginagamit natin madalas ang bolo sa pagputol ng mga matataas na damo at pangputol sa mga sanga na maaaring makasagabal sa ating pagtataniman. Ito, class, ang halimbawa ng isang bolo. Next one is digging bar. So digging bar is used for what? Digging bar, class, is used for digging holes or paws and for digging out big stones and stumps. Malinaw na ginagamit natin ito, class, sa paghuhukay at pagtanggal ng mga malalaking bato at iba pang mga bagay na maaaring makasagabal sa ating mga halaman o pananim sa lugar na ating pagtataniman. Ito rin, class, ay maaaring gamitin sa pagtanggal ng mga stumps. Ano nga ba ang stump? Para sa inyong kaalaman, class, ang stump ay ang mga natirang trunk ng isang punong pinutol. At maaari daw natin gamitin ang digging bar sa pagtanggal ng mga ito. I guess most of you, class, are familiar with this kind of hand tool. The third hand tool, class, is pikmatok. In Tagalog, we called it as asarol. Pikmatok is used for digging small canals, breaking hard topsoil, and for digging up stones and tree stumps. The pointed tip is used for digging medium-sized stones, and the wide tip is for the hard soil. Ang pikmatok daw, class, ay panghukay ng mga matitigas na lupa. Pwede rin itong panghukay ng mga malalaking bato. Ang matulis na dulo ng tool na ito ay karaniwang ginagamit pang tanggal ng mga bato at ang malapad na dulo naman ay ang siyang ginagamit sa mga lupang matitigas. Ito, class, ang halimbawa ng pikmatok o asarol. Now, let's talk about grab hoe. Grab hoe is used for breaking hard topsoil and pulverizing soil. It is typically attached to a long piece of wood as its handle. Pulverizing soil class ay ang paraan para maging buhaghag ang ating lupa upang makatulong ito sa magandang pagtubo at paglago ng ating mga halaman na itatanim. For the next hand tool, we have spade, sometimes called as flat shovel. Spade is a gardening tool with a flat and sharp edge which is used for digging or loosening soil. It is also great in hauling more loose soil as it has more space for it. So malinaw class na sinasabi riyan na ito ay ginagamit pang hukay at pwede rin pang transfer ng lupa from one place to another. At ginagamit rin ito class sa pagmix ng ating mga soil media na ginagamit natin sa paghahalaman. So ganito gamitin ang spade class. For the next variation of shovel, we have an ordinary shovel, also called as pointed shovel. Shovel is used in removing trash and digging loose soil. It is quite similar to the function of spade, so ang pinagkaiba lang nila ay sa tip o sa dulo dahil sa spade ay flat at sa pointed shovel naman, from the word itself, ito ay patilos or pointed. For the next one, we have rake. Kalaykay sa Tagalog. Rake is used for cleaning the ground and leveling the topsoil. Unlike grab hoe class na maaari ring gamitin pang pulverize ng soil, ang rake ay mas efficient gamitin sapagkat ito ay mas wide. At hindi na rin natin pang kailangan yumuko ng sobra sa paggamit nito dahil sa mahaba nitong hawakan. So paano nga ba ito ginagamit class? Next is light hoe. Light hoe is used for loosening and leveling soil and digging out furrows for planting. Light hoe, from the word itself, light po siya at handy lang talaga na tool na kung saan ay very convenient when it comes to its uses and for storage matters. Ito class ay karaniwang ginagamit kapag tayo ay maglalagay na ng seedlings sa lupa na ating pagtataniman. Pwede rin ito class na gamitin pang tanggal ng mga bato o maliliit na bato kapag wala talaga tayong available na appropriate tools para dito. Next tool, we have hand trowel. Hand trowel is used for loosening the soil around the growing plants and putting small amount of manure in the soil. Hand trowel, ito ay panghukay, pero class, ang specific na function nito ay panghukay ng lupa sa gilid ng mga pausbong na halaman upang makapaglagay tayo class ng fertilizers. Pwede rin ito class na gamitin panglagay ng lupa sa mga paso at plant bags na ating pagtataniman. Moving on, we have hand cultivator. Hand cultivator is used for cultivating the garden plot by loosening the soil and removing the young weeds around the plant. Hand cultivator, so kung baga class, ito ay pwede nating tawaging baby rake dahil nakatutulong rin ito sa pagbuhaghag ng ating lupa at sa pagtanggal ng mga damo at iba pang bagay na may potensyal na makasagabal sa paglago ng ating mga halaman. Next hand tool is spading fork. Spading fork is used for loosening the soil, digging out root crops, and turning over the materials in a compost heap. So hand fork class, from the word itself, ay para siyang katulad ng tinidor na ginagamit din pang cultivate ng ating mga halaman. Next, hand fork. Hand fork is used for inter-row cultivation. Kitang-kita natin class na ang hand fork ay ang pinaliit lang na version ng spading fork na ginagamit din pang cultivate ng ating mga halaman. Next is pruning shears. So what are the functions of this kind of hand tool? Pruning shears class is used for cutting branches of planting materials and unnecessary branches of plants. So class, meron talaga tayo na ginagamit na panggupit sa mga sagabal na sanga sa ating mga halaman. At hindi tayo dapat gumamit ng mga typical na panggupit tulad ng ginagamit natin sa kusina at tulad ng ginagamit natin sa papel. Ito ay upang maging maayos ang ating paghahalaman. Kung meron din tayo class na mga ornamental plants sa bahay, ay pwede rin natin itong gamitin pangtanggal ng mga nabubulok na dahon. At pwede din natin itong gamitin class na pang-ani o panggupit ng ilang mga bunga ng ating mga halaman tulad ng talong, kamatis, sile at iba pa. Kung wala talaga tayong available na tool para dito. Next is axe. Axe is for cutting bigger size food for paws. Sa Tagalog ay palakol. Dito ay sobrang familiar na tayo class dahil madalas natin itong nakikita na ginagamit ng ating tatay sa pagsibak ng kahoy. Next is knife. Knife is for cutting planting materials and for performing other operations in the nursery. So knife class, hindi ito yung ordinaryong knife na ginagamit natin sa kusina. Sapagkat ang farm knife na ito ay ginagamit natin for mark cutting, crafting, and cutting of plants. Next is wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow sa Tagalog ay karmatilya. Wheelbarrow class is used for hauling trash, manures, fertilizers, planting materials, and other equipment. Ginagamit natin ito class para madalian tayo sa paglipat ng mga mabibigat na farm stuff from one place to another para isang buhatan na lang at hindi tayo pabalik-balik. Next we have sickle. Sa Tagalog, ito ay karet. Sickle is a handheld agricultural tool with a variously curved blade typically used for cutting weeds. So in short class, ginagamit ito madalas sa pagtanggal at pagputol ng mga damo o ng mga matataas na damo. Next hand tool that is also very common to us is sprinklers. Sprinklers sa Tagalog ay lagadera are used for watering seedlings and young plants. For the last hand tool class, we have pail. Water pails for holding water, manure, and fertilizers. So malinaw class na ang pail o timba ay hindi lang ginagamit na lagayan ng tubig, kundi pwede rin itong paglagyan ng mga pataba or fertilizers. Along with our discussion of the different hand tools class, you probably noticed that most of their functions are quite similar. However, they still have distinct and unique uses for farming with regards to when and where they are best to utilize or used. At this point, class, let's now proceed to the different farm implements. Farm implements class are accessories which are being pulled by working animals or mounted to machineries like hand tractor or tractor, which are usually used in the preparation of wide land. So kung inyong napuna, ang farm implements class, unlike sa hand tools na pang small area lamang, ito namang farm implements ay pang wider area of land, and it is used mainly for the preparation of land. Siyempre class, hindi pwede na basta-basta na lang po natin itanim ang ating mga seedlings. So we have to use these farm implements to make the best land for our crops. For the first farm implement, we have plows. Plows are farm implements used in horticultural operations, either pulled by a working animal or a tractor. The plow is specifically used for tilling large areas, making furrow and inter-row cultivation. Plows pulled by working animals are made of either a combination of metal or wood or pure metal. They are used to till areas with a shallower depth than that of the disc plows which are pulled by tractors. So as you can see, plows are indeed important and are very useful, especially if we are planning to farm and cultivate a large area of land. For the next farm implement, we have harrow. The native wooden harrow is made of wood with a metal tooth and pulled by a caravel, while the disc harrow is a metal mounted to a tractor. Harrows are used for tilling and pulverizing the soil. Just like the plows class, harrow are necessary for wide land also. So kailangan na maging conducive yung land area class na ating gagamitin sa paghahalaman upang maging produktibo at masagana ang ating pagtatanim. Tandaan natin class na ang mga halaman o ang ating mga crops ay tulad din nating mga tao. na kapag maganda o tama at maayos ang nasa paligid nito o ang kanilang environment, ay mas madali silang mag-grow at mas lalago sila ng mas maganda. Tulad din sa atin, let's say for example sa classroom. Kapag ang classroom ay conducive para sa inyong mga estudyante, ay mas madali kayong mag-grow as student. Ganon din naman sa inyong pamilya. Kapag ang environment niyo sa pamilya ay maganda, ay mas mag-grow kayo ng tama at ng maayos. For the third one, we have the rotivator. The rotivator class is an implement mounted to a tractor used for tilling and pulverizing the soil. Rotivator is simply the combination of a plow and a harrow. Ito class ay may kamahalan dahil ito ay pang wider use na talaga. Now that we have finished discussing the different farm implements, let's now proceed to the different farm equipment. Farm equipment class, for your information, are machineries used in horticultural and agronomical operations, especially in vegetable, rice, corn, and cereal production. They are used in different stages of crop production, starting from land preparation up to planting and harvesting, and in transporting farm inputs and products. So malinaw class na kapag usapang farm equipment, ay involved dyan ang mga naglalakihang makinarya na nakatutulong upang mas mapabilis ang pagpre-prepare ng lupa, ang pagtatanim, maging ang pag-aani ng mga ito. Tatandaan natin class na sa paggamit ng farm equipment, ito ay nangangailangan ng highly skilled operator. Take note, kailangan po daw ng highly skilled operator. Bakit kaya? Dahil class, ang bawat farm equipment ay mayroong manufacturer's guide. Meaning to say, mayroong essential skills na kinakailangan ang isang operator para ito ay magamit ng maayos. Ito ay tulad din class ng pagsali sa mga contest or for example sa quiz bee. Dapat bago ka sumabak sa laban ay meron kang alam para maging maganda ang resulta nito. For the first farm equipment, we have hand tractors. Hand tractors are used to pull a plow and a harrow in preparing a large area of land. They are also used to draw trailers to transport materials, inputs, and harvest. It is now referred to us as the farmer's main drawing equipment, although in some places, carabao is still used. So katulad class ng sinasabi ko kanina, imagine if you are only going to use hand tools in a large area of land. So, hindi magiging efficient at mapapagod ka lang at masasayang lang ang effort mo kung gagamit ka lang ng hand tools sa mga naglalakihang lupain o hektar-hektaryang lupain na ito. So, hand tractors class and other farm equipment are very important when it comes to farming on a large area of land. For the next farm equipment, we have four-wheel tractor. Saan nga ba ito ginagamit class? Four-wheel tractor class is used to pull this plow and this harrow and other farm implements in preparing much bigger area of land. It is also used to draw trailers in transporting bigger bulk of materials, inputs, and harvest. So, kumpara sa hand tractor class, ay mas advanced ang four-wheel tractor. Ito ay ginagamit na class sa mga hekta-hektaryang lupain na ating pagtataniman. For the third one, we have water pump. Saan nga ba ginagamit ang water pump? Water pumps are used to draw irrigation water from a source. It made crop production possible in areas without irrigation system. Kasi nga naman class, baliwala lahat ng ating paghihirap sa land preparation at ang ating paghihirap sa pagtatanim kung wala naman itong irrigation system or walang patubig. Dahil hindi magiging maayos ang ating crop production at hindi rin magiging malago ang ating pagtatanim dahil wala nga itong source of water na kung saan ito ay very essential for every crop in our farm. The next one is very common to us, which is the sprayer. So sprayer is used for what? Sprayers are used to apply chemicals to control pests. Although the knapsack sprayer is still used for easy handling, the power sprayer is being used for faster and more convenient chemical application. It is also used to clean the other farm equipment. Now, it's time for us to harvest our crops with combined harvester and thresher. This is a combined harvester and thresher used to harvest and thresh rice at the same time. It could harvest and thresh a maximum of 3 hectares in a day. Clean grains were accumulated in the compartment that could be transported to a nearby dry area for ease in putting to sacks. When it comes to harvesting our crops, these farm equipment are absolutely important. Imagine if we still do manual harvesting. It may obviously consume a lot of our time and effort, but with the help and with the use of these modern farm equipment, we can now easily harvest our crops with ease and convenience. We have here the thresher, the rice harvester, and also the corn dehusser that are very useful for farmers nowadays. For me to assess and gauge what you have learned from our lesson, be ready for your learning task. For the learning task number 1, what you need to do is just to match column A with column B. Write the letter of your answer on the space provided before the number of your answer sheet. For the learning task number 2, you have to list down 5 farm tools, illustrate and write the function of each tool. Use the format of the given sample below. For the learning task number 3, you have to utilize the given format or given table below. And you should write the uses of the following farm equipment and do it on your answer sheet. For the learning task number 4, you just have to answer the following questions and write your answer on your answer sheet. For the first question, you have to differentiate farm tools from farm equipment. For the next question, you have to explain how these farm tools and equipment are important in performing farm activities. Thank you so much, class, for listening. I hope that you enjoy and learn from our lesson today.